Greetings, traveler.
All right, so I have some stuff prepared here. A professional streamer, if you will, my streamer Pog, etc., etc. So Duos has been announced April 16th. You're going to be playing together with a friend, or you can queue up with a random partner. You are very likely going to play against like people that are queuing up together, or people that also have a random partner, right? So like balance-wise, we're going to start with the very duo specific, right? These are all duo specific, but Cho'Gall is super thematic. I believe that you could play this in Heroes of the Storm as well, and then it's two players controlling one unit, where one does the movement, one does the skills or something. I don't know exactly how it worked, but so this hero is now in Battlegrounds, or not yet, but will be in Duos. They both have the same hero power. Whenever you play a golden minion, both you and Gall get a triple reward. With the triple reward being on your tier, that's really powerful. At BlizzCon, this was not 3 per game, so you know it's good when they said, oh, we can't let people continue to do this. We need to limit this to 3 per game. So it's a little bit like Zephrys, where 3 times per game you can have a power spike. But especially in duos, I expect this to be very good to get that big spike on both boards. Like between the two of you, you should be able to triple twice relatively fast. So that's going to be a significant power spike, where you would pop this, let's say on 7 gold, right? You both triple, you both get a 4-drop on 7 gold. That gives you so much tempo, and then you can level really quickly to tier 5, and then either of you guys just needs 1 triple, and then you both get a 6-drop. That's silly, right? It's supposed to be fun, not balanced? No, it's supposed to be fun and balanced. It's not going to be balanced at the start, but they should at least try a little bit. Anyway, so my initial take on this is that this is going to be fun. Also, we have another indication, right? They nerfed it to 3 instead of unlimited, and it has 6 armor. 6 armor, that's Gallywix level. That's Gallywix type shit, okay? So if they release a hero at 6 armor, they're afraid that it's way too good. Definitely try Cho'Gall on release. Heroes. So Nameless one, 12 armor, start of the game, copy your teammate's hero power. That's pretty much Finley, but you know what you're getting. This seems really good. Like this is just like really nice to have, where you have this as an option. Your teammate picks Gallywix, and you're like, 12 armor Gallywix, let's go, baby. So there's probably also some specific interactions you can do with your teammate. Double Lich King early tempo, or you can double Elise early hero powers or 1-person saves. There's some strategies you can do, but for the most part, it's 12 armor Finley, but you know what you're gonna get. You just ask your teammate, hey, what do you have, right? And then bam. Or I think you can check their screen, or there's probably a way to check what they have. Yeah, I think that's just good. It's flexible. I don't think it's always good, but it's just good to have. If it's in your hero selection, you're like, oh, cool, let's see what they have. Then Gloop is 15 armor. Choose a friendly minion, start of combat, transform into your teammate's highest tier minion. So I'm assuming that's an exact copy, where it's not just the standard copy. So you can play a bit around with this for endgame, where you can specifically play a Gloop comp, where your teammate has like 1 tier 6 and it's buffed out of the wazoo, and he only has 5 drops or lower for the rest. If you hero power in the end game, you just take your teammate's best minion. It's not like insane early. It's just a little bit of flexibility. Gloop probably just really heavily relies on the teammate to carry. So what I can see happening is if you play with Gloop, you feed your teammate resources to build a nasty minion and then copy that. Like for instance, Gloop can buy a Divine Shield for 6, feed it into the portal, then your teammate uses the Divine Shield on the Chonker minion, like let's say a Foe Reaper, and then Gloop copies the Foe Reaper, and now you both have this Divine Shield Foe Reaper that's got Wind Fury and shit. I can see this being fun, but it probably requires a little bit of setup. Not instantly where I look at this, oh, this is like crazy, but it might be, right? That's always a thing. Now Goya, on the other hand, is just overall strong, where her hero power is 2 gold, pass a non-golden minion. Now, passing a minion through the portal will cost you 1 gold. So you might say, what the fuck is this? I'm paying 2 gold instead of 1, but you can take something from the shop. So you're feeding your teammate pretty heavily when you're playing Goya, because every turn, you're likely going to use 2 gold to grab something from the shop and give it to your teammates. Because you're looking at overall board strength, right? Your board and your teammate's board. You're going to be pretty strong in the early game just because you're like Zarella, but you don't make it a 2-2, so you don't lose the stats. But yeah, this seems good. It's just good economy. We all know economy is good. It gives you faster level options, makes you a bit stronger, makes you a bit more efficient, makes it easier to get triples, etc, etc, etc. So that seems pretty good. So out of these, I would say Goya feels the best. And then this one's heavily conditional. And then Gloop is the one I have the hardest time figuring out because it can be that endgame, it's just so insane that it's like always worth it. But I don't know yet. It requires more setup, that's for sure. So those are the new heroes. For tier 1, we have Passenger. The first time your team passes each turn, gain +2/+2. And its base stat line is a 2/3. That seems good because you're buying a 2/3, so you're not by default losing the first round or anything. And then there are several effects that make it easier to pass, like for instance Goya or other stuff we're gonna see later. So this seems like something very worth picking up and then getting some free stats. A little bit like Tavern Tipper, but then depending on the type of board you have, you don't need to float gold because Goya will just pass anyway, right? Trusty Pup. Whenever this takes damage, gain 1 attack permanently. It's a little slow. It's a little bit like the dragon that's 0/4. I don't love it. Yeah, I don't think it's great. So we have our first duos specific spell. Get a random minion of your teammate's most common type and then pass it. That's Chef's Choice, essentially, right? Chef's Choice, but slightly different. That's good. We like Chef's Choice. So that seems like a good spell. Seems fantastic on the 5 gold turn after you just leveled to tier 2. You can play Recruitment Program, feed your teammate, and then hopefully not take damage because your teammate is carrying. Generous Geomancer is a 2-drop Quill Board. Death Rattle, you and your teammate each get a Blood Gem. So right now we have the 3/2 that gives 1 gem to you on Death Rattle. This will be 2 gems. That seems good. It's only a 2/1, so you're more likely to lose the first fight. But after that, it's immediately rebounds. So that seems like a good 2-drop. Then Friendly Saloon Keeper is a 3/4 Battle Cry. Your teammate gets a gold coin. That seems bonkers. My god. Yeah, that's a good minion. Damn. Like, economy, it's a 3/4. Like, you're not likely to lose your first round if you buy this. Then your teammate can, at the very least, use that gold to pay for a free pass. But probably that gold is just going to go towards developing their own board. 1000th Paper Drake. Start of combat, give your leftmost dragon +1/+2 on Wind Fury. And it's a 2/3 baseline. Fine. That's going to be just board dependent, right? If you have a good dragon start, then fine. So yeah, pretty specific. Wanderer Cho. 1 pass each turn is free. So that seems really good, right? You have a 4/3 stat line, so that's not something that loses fights automatically. And then especially with that tier 1 minion that grows every time you pass, that's just great. So Wanderer Cho seems like a really good minion to pick up. Set yourself up for some easy stats and easy passing, because let's say you have Mana Saber on your board and your teammate has Hummingbird in the shop. Hummingbird doesn't do anything if you don't have other beasts, but you started with a Mana Saber. So if you have a Wanderer Cho, you can use that to pass the Mana Saber to the Hummingbird or vice versa. So that's a simple example of how you're making your board stronger without having to pay the gold, because obviously you would prefer to have the beast synergy on one board rather than one board has a Mana Saber, one board has a Hummingbird. That doesn't do anything. So it seems very good. So the 2-drops seem strong. I would say these 3 bottom ones all seem very good. The spell seems very good. And this guy can be very good, but it's just conditional, right? So it's not insane. Let's see. What do we have for tier 3? Orchestra Conductor. Battle Cry. Give a minion +2/+2. Improve your team's future Orchestra Conductors. Right. So that's a little bit like Pogo Hopper, right? Where if you have a Bran, I'm guessing it's double proc, right? So double improvement. So it's a non-type. I don't know how I feel about that. I guess it's very, very conditional, where I feel like this is something you just jam if you happen to open like 2 of them in the shop, or you and your teammate both have one. Doting Directhair. At the end of your turn, give your teammates minions +1 attack. Wow, this is teammates minions, not just dragons. That's good. Okay. Yeah, that's just nice to pick up. Wow. +1 attack, just minions. So they can have Divine Shields on their board or Cleave or something. Works with a double end of turn proc, I'm assuming. Why not? Portal in a Bottle. Pass a non-golden minion. That's Goya hero power, right? That's nice. That's a nice spell. 2 gold to grab something from the shop and put it in your teammate's hand. Really good. Catch. Give your minions +3 attack. Upgrades by +3 attack after this is passed. If you have any free pass mechanics, this is sweet. Like you have a Wanderer Cho on your board, it will give you some cheap tempo, especially if you have 1 or 2 shields on your board. Yeah, I think catch, it's not like an auto buy, unless I'm wrong, but there are definitely situations where this is going to be really sweet. You probably only need +6, +9 for this to be solid. You don't need to have like overkill damage. Although you could probably even do this in the late game where you go for a bit more of a glass cannon build. You could easily get, let's say, like 50 damage on your board in 1 turn. Catch. I definitely, yeah, that's definitely gonna happen end of turn when we just have a little bit of money left. Swap, 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 boom. I can see that, right? So normally you roll your last 2 gold away or so, right? Because you're like, oh, I can't do anything. But now if one person has catch in their hand, it's just, oh, you have 2 gold left? Let's just catch for 2 gold. Catch, 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 and then boom, giga damage. That's actually not, that's not too crazy. Huh. Because that's a lot of damage on your board. Especially if you're running Divine Shields, but even if you're just running something that has a shit ton of health, but you don't have that much damage. Like you have a Lava Lurker that's just, you know, gotten the taunt thing over and over and over. Just being able to add 12 damage to that, suddenly your whole board. That's actually not bad, no. Okay, I can see some potential for this. Even in the mid game and the late game. I thought this was just like early game. Pass it once or twice and get some tempo, but this could be a mid or late game thing. We're gonna experiment with that for sure. Then we have Puddle Prancer. After this is passed, game +3/+3. If we have free pass mechanics, then this is solid. So if you don't, I don't think you want to pay 1 gold for +3/+3 repeatedly. So you could pay 4 gold for this and have it be a 6/6. There's definitely gonna be times where you want to do this. Then Plunder Pal. At the start of your turn, you and your teammate each gain 1 gold. Hello. That's nice. It's like a Quartertron, but we both get it. Yeah, that seems like a really good early triple. Triple into Plunder Pal early and then ramp both you and your teammate. Because floating a gold is not that awful because you can pay for a pass. Right? There's usually some stuff you want to pass or there's some bonus to passing. Because you might make the argument here that you're not getting a coin, you're getting a gold, so you have to use the gold. But the game mode itself has a really easy way to burn an extra gold. You can just pass. And there's going to be stuff like the Puddle Prancer, like Catch, where you get an inherent bonus for passing. So, okay, that seems like a really good card. Wow, there's a lot of strong shit in here. There's a lot of strong shit. All right, tier 4. Magnimoose. Death Rattle, summon a copy of a minion from your teammate's warband, but set its health to 1. That's so random. Because I was thinking, oh, you can take a really good Death Rattle, so that's really going to depend on the build. There's probably going to be some way to break the game with this, but I'm too lazy to find it right now. So I'm going to come back to this when, you know, the game is actually released. Because right now it seems, you know, it can hit a Tidus if you're both playing Death Rattle builds, or it's kind of weird. Feisty Freshwater. Death Rattle, you and your teammates each gain 2 refreshes that cost 0. That's a bit of a harder thing to evaluate. It depends if Elise is still in the game, right? If Elise is going to be in the duos, then that's not bad, right? You can really feed Elise with that. I think it's fine early, but then I don't know how long you'd want to keep it. All right, I'll have to experiment with that. Manari Messenger, Battlecry. Minions in your team's taverns have +2/+1 this game. So that's Fellemental, but better. Fellemental's a good card, so Fellemental but better seems strong. I guess if Rylak stays, that's nutty, right? Rylak with this thing, just brrrr. Because when you play your Rylak build, you have some embarrassment of riches a lot of the time, or your shop is just so big. So if you can feed your teammate a lot of stats to the shop, your teammate can invest a lot more time and resources in just building this disgusting board, right? Which is like base skill into base skill into base skill, or just collect matadors, or, you know, just build this unethical board, right? This board where normally speaking it's good but not insane, but because it's bigger it's insane. Like matadors are good, right? But if you have 200 matadors, it's insane because they are like Divine Shield but better. Storm Splitter, once per turn after you pass a tavern spell, get a new copy of it. Wow, that's good. That's good. Once per turn, after you pass a tavern spell, get a new copy of it. So I buy a Golden Touch, I pass it to my friend, and then I don't open the Golden Touch and do it again next turn. All right, that's gonna get nerfed. What the fuck? I can just feed my friend the Golden Touch every turn. Disgusting. All right, well, Storm Splitter seems good. Seems really good. Mirror Monster. When you buy or discover this, get an extra copy and pass it. That's also really good. That's just a triple machine, right? Oh, you can buy this and then your teammate can feed it back to you. And then you buy one more and then you triple. Yeah, this seems like it's going to be a bit of a headache, but it's like a triple machine. Grave Narrator. Avenge 3. Your teammate gets a random minion of their most common type. It's a 2/7. So it's like Nest Matron-esque. But you don't get battle cries. You get minions from your type. Battle cries are probably better, but minions from the type can high roll more. Like just getting a bunch of bananas or something. All right, this is going to be a fun card to play with if you have the right setup for it. Your teammate just randomly hitting the nuts because 9 of your minions died and they get fed 3 beasts or 3 dragons or something. That's nice. That's fun. I don't think it's unconditionally good, but in the right board, right, in the right game, it's going to be nice. Then we got tier 5. Support System. At the end of your turn, give a minion in your teammate's warband Divine Shield. It's end of turn, so I can run Drukhari and the double end of turn spell. It's a mech, so I can magnetize it. Wow. Yeah. Support System is definitely going to be something that you flex in for a turn or two. Like end game, when you like, let's say your opponent is playing APM Pirates, he's just gonna have so much money that he buys you a support system and then he buys you a Drukhari. It's like, put this on your board, motherfucker. That's definitely gonna happen with Collins and me. Either one of us is gonna play Pirates and be like, I don't care about your board. My board's more important, okay? Make 2 board spaces. Play this in a Drukhari. I need my shields. I need some shields, okay? I'll pay for it. I've got money. I'll pay for it. Here. Have support system and Drukhari. I don't give a shit. Oh, that's gonna be fun. Yeah. Just in general, like tripling into this is probably also more than fine, right? But I can definitely see this be some kind of endgame tech. It's like turn 10, turn 11, and you are close to infinite and you have a shit ton of money. I can see this happening where you essentially just tell your teammate, don't worry, I carry this fight, right? I'm super strong. My cleave has 100 HP. I will kill both of their boards. Just shield my board, okay? All right, so that seems like fun. Well-Wisher. Spellcraft, pass a different non-golden minion. That's also really good. Wow. That's like Zarjira. Not quite. Zarjira's better because Zarjira will allow you to make triples. But Spellcraft, just take a minion from the shop and give it to your teammate. And in some conditions, take something off your board for free. That's good. It's a non-type, so this is a non-Naga Spellcraft. It has to be a non-type because if it's a type, you can easily keep it on your board. And that's way too good. So this being a non-type is very necessary because there should be a drawback to having this, and the drawback is it's a 6/6 and it's very hard to buff. But still, tripling into a Well-Wisher early is going to give you such an insane amount of value and tempo that it's still very good. Man, I can't wait. This is gonna be so fun. This is gonna be so fun. I don't think there are tier 6s, right? My editor is the GOAT, by the way, right? He prepared all these slides for me, so and I don't have a tier 6 slide, but we have a tier 7 slide. There is a new tier 7 minion, Sandy. Now, Sandy, I believe, was a tier 6 during the duos playtest, and the fact that they made it a tier 7 now means that it's busted. Start of combat, transform into a copy of your teammate's highest health minion. That seems really good. So the reason why it's a tier 7 is they didn't want it in the game, like very easily accessible because it was too strong. So now it's pretty much just going to be Thorm, I'm assuming. Or maybe in the future, if they do some kind of tier 7 anomaly in duos, complete craziness. But yeah, there's definitely some stuff that could happen. But yeah, this is super good, right? You let your teammate do the work of creating this monster of a unit, and then you play Sandy, and then you both have that monster. Because in Battlegrounds, it's not that hard to just create one monster. It's hard to create a board of 7 monsters, but you can easily just make one really good minion and then add, you know, Queen and Matador and all that. But it's tier 7, it's not that relevant, it's just Thorn. Yeah, that looks so much fun.